Hi, this is Nick Gross, and it is September 27th, Friday. And we are a little more than we're something like 5 weeks out from the the general election in the U.S., which right now the top of the ticket is the presidential election. But of course, keep in mind that there's also Senate and congressional races up and down the ballot, along with several local races that um, are it can be important to everybody. This is the continuing version of this video series I've been doing on the looking at the forecast models for the presidential election, the 538 model on the right of your screen, and then Nate Silver's model that he is self-publishing on the left. So I'm doing this update because a bunch of polls dropped. For a while, the models had steadied out to about a 55-45 split for Harris. The models have converged, so they've started to agree with each other more and more. And with the new drop of polls, the both models have jumped up a little bit so that Harris has a 58% chance of winning compared to Trump's slightly less than 42% chance of winning. And again, that's winning the Electoral College vote, which is how we select our president in the United States. From a model point of view, it makes sense that the two models are really starting to converge because my understanding of the way these models work is that as the you get closer and closer to the election, the priors about the economy and about incumbency and what the particular partisan lean is of a particular state start to get taken over by what the actual polls are saying. So both models are going to are going to make less assumptions about what's happening in each state and going to pay more attention to the polling in each state for each of those things. One of the things I wanted to do was take a quick look at the maps in this. I think these are interesting. Oftentimes, and I'm going to use the Nate Silver's map here as an example. This is again a reminder that we select our president via Electoral College, and each state has a certain number of Electoral College votes, primarily depending on the population, but not quite. And so oftentimes you'll see these maps represented this way on the left-hand side, right? And so showing a whole lot of red and then some blue on the coasts here and here. The thing to keep in mind is that all of this red in Montana adds up to 4 Electoral College votes. Similarly, in North Dakota, it's 3 Electoral College votes. Whereas in California, it's 54 Electoral College votes. So more than 10 times more Electoral College votes. So land area does not indicate Electoral College votes. I know it seems obvious at first, but sometimes the intuition you get from these maps can be confusing. So on the right-hand side, in the 538 map, they actually put in the number of Electoral College votes visibly, so you visibly get a picture. I like what Nate Silver did, which is he goes over to a hex map, right? And the hex map shows, so now each hex is an equal vote. And so now you see a more, it becomes clearer why this is such a close election. You see a more even distribution of blue for Democrats, red for Republicans, and then the light red or light blue indicating the states that are much closer to the election. So that's one thing to point out here. The other thing to point out is that the Electoral College votes are distributed by representation in Congress. So it is equivalent to the number of congressional seats that you have, but that's both for the House of Representatives and for the Senate. So, for example, New York State has 28 Electoral College votes. That's 26 for the 26 districts in New York State, the 26 congressional districts, and then 2 more for each senator. Or sorry, 2 more for the senators. So for a total of 28. However, if you go to North Dakota gets 3. It's got 1 congressional district and still 2 senators. So your the over representation in the Electoral College of the more rural states, the less densely populated states, is due to the fact that they have 2 senators, and no matter how many people are in the state. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind when thinking about the Electoral College, and that's when people start talking about Electoral College reform, that's one of the things that they're. So that's the state of the race right now. The big swing that's gone on recently in the recent polling is for Harris, better polling for Harris in Pennsylvania. So if we look at the Pennsylvania probabilities or polling, you see that Harris is up by almost 2 points according to Nate Silver's polling, and in same thing, so up by a little bit less than that in the 538, so up by 1.5 points in the 538 polling averages. And more importantly, it's changed a little bit over the last week. It's become roughly it's gone up just a little bit for Harris over the last week, and so that gives Harris in the 538 model win probability of 56 to 44. In Nate Silver's model, it's actually higher win probability for Pennsylvania of 62 to less to about 38. And so then, and in fact, for the first time in a long time, Nate Silver's commentary up the top here is he is a little more bullish on Harris winning. So he's more sees Harris winning as more favorable. But more importantly, I think both of these models have started to converge, which gives you a sense of where the race is coming down to. That said, it is still a modified coin flip. You take a quarter, you put a little bit of a play on the on one side and flip it, and that's the probability that Harris's or Trump will win, right? And so it's still a very close race, and we'll be looking at this. I'll continue watching these on a regular basis and update them as I see fit. All right, thanks.